It starts with a candle, not a metaphor, an actual candle, sitting beside a box of tacks and a book of matches. The task: attach the candle to a wall so that the wax doesn't drip on the table below. Seems simple, right? Yet when scientists gave this puzzle to two groups, one with a cash reward for finishing faster and one with no reward, something weird happened. The group offered the money performed worse, slower, less creatively. They missed the solution that required seeing the box of tacks not just as a container, but as a tool itself. That's where everything begins to unravel, because what if rewards, instead of helping us, are holding us back? Hello, I am Alloy, and welcome to Audiofybooks, where you will find excellent audio summaries of books in a very easy and interesting way. If you want to learn from new books, do subscribe to the channel. Let's get started with today's book. Daniel Pink opens Drive with this classic experiment, known as the candle problem, not just to spark curiosity, but to challenge everything we think we know about motivation. In a world built on reward and punishment systems, bonuses, grades, promotions, what if the very structure we rely on is the same one that's killing creativity, innovation, and meaning? Inc. calls it the shift from Motivation 2.0 to Motivation 3.0. See, Motivation 2.0 is that old operating system, based on external carrots and sticks. It works great if the task is mechanical, routine, or repetitive. But we no longer live in that world. We live in a conceptual age where people are hired not just to follow instructions, but to solve problems, create ideas, build things, lead teams, and drive innovation. And in this new landscape, external rewards can backfire. Think of a child who loves to draw. You start paying her $1 for every picture she makes. At first, she's thrilled, but slowly, something shifts. She stops drawing unless she's paid. Her love becomes labor. Her art becomes obligation. The reward, once exciting, now shackles her creativity. And so begins Pink's journey into what really drives us, beneath the surface, behind the paycheck, beyond what's visible. He lays out 3 pillars: autonomy, mastery, purpose. Together, they form the foundation of what he calls Motivation 3.0, the upgrade we all need. Let's start with autonomy. This isn't about being your own boss or working alone. It's about control, about having a say in how you do your work. Pink talks about companies like Atlassian, where employees get fed X days, 24 hours to work on anything they want, as long as they deliver something at the end. And what do you think happens? Innovation explodes. People build things they care about. They bring energy, creativity, passion, things no manager can micromanage into existence. Now contrast that with the average workplace. Set hours, fixed processes, constant supervision. It's like being handed wings and told not to fly too far. We're hiring brilliant minds, then tying their hands behind their backs. Autonomy isn't a luxury, it's fuel. Then comes mastery, the deep, almost spiritual desire to get better at something that matters. Not for a trophy, not for a bonus, but because it's meaningful. Have you ever lost track of time while doing something challenging but satisfying? That's the flow state. That's mastery. Pink shares the story of musicians who practice for hours, not to win competitions, but to feel the music flow through their fingers. Or open source coders who work for free, perfecting their software late into the night. Why? Because getting better is the reward. And the moment we turn it into a job, when the goal becomes a paycheck rather than progress, we often lose that internal fire. It's why grades can kill a love of learning, why bonuses can kill innovation, why over-monitoring performance can backfire. Mastery thrives in environments where people are challenged but not threatened, where feedback is given but not forced, where effort is praised more than outcome. And here's the truth. Mastery is a pain. It's never fully achievable. but it's the pursuit that fulfills us. Finally, there's purpose. This one's subtle, but seismic. Purpose is the feeling that what you're doing serves something larger than yourself. It's the reason behind the reason. Why teachers stay late to help a struggling student. Why nurses show up during pandemics. Why entrepreneurs keep going after failure. They're not chasing success. They're chasing meaning. Pink points out that companies with a strong sense of purpose outperform those that don't, not just financially, but in morale, retention, and innovation. People don't want to be cogs in a machine. They want to know that their work matters, that their efforts ripple beyond the office walls. So if you're leading a team, or even yourself, ask, are we tapping into purpose, or just pushing through tasks? Are we inspiring passion, or enforcing performance? The old models aren't enough anymore. Incentives and punishments can get short-term compliance, but they can't buy creativity. They can't buy soul. We've reached a tipping point, and Pink makes it clear. If we want organizations that thrive, students who truly learn, or lives that feel whole, we must pivot from external control to internal drive. He dives into research, real stories, and applications, from Google's 20% time, which birthed Gmail, to nonprofit organizations running on passion more than paychecks. He even critiques how schools reward grades over curiosity, reducing education to performance instead of growth. Pink isn't just diagnosing a problem. He's prescribing a path forward. For parents, he suggests encouraging exploration rather than just achievement. For managers, he urges them to replace command and control with trust and verify. For individuals, he reminds us that meaning isn't given. It's created, day by day, in how we choose to show up. He even shares how to build your own Motivation 3.0 work style, crafting goals that align with your values, creating environments that support autonomy, mastering time, and connecting tasks to a greater mission. So next time you feel stuck or unmotivated, ask not what reward is missing, but what autonomy is restricted, what mastery is lacking, what purpose is forgotten. Because ultimately, what drives us isn't the prize at the end, but the joy in the journey, the freedom to choose, the desire to grow, the hope of doing something that matters. That's the real fuel. That's the spark. Drive reminds us that human beings are beautifully complex. We're not donkeys chasing carrots. We're creators seeking connection. And when we align our lives with what truly drives us, autonomy, mastery, purpose, we don't just become more productive. We become more alive.